Welcome to this video. Here we will discuss how to navigate the political considerations that influence the nature of the trade or trade finance, because there are multiple factors and political consideration or the government and regulatory considerations which we need to have. Trade policies. Trade policies shape the landscape. They shape in which area or which arena we will be able to do a trade. The governments implement various policies in the form of tariff, in the form of quotas, in the form of subsidies to protect the domestic industries, to prevent imports, to promote exports, and to achieve their strategic objectives, which could be local employment, which could be local GDP growth. Multiple targets could be there. These policies can create barriers to trade for overseas companies. So the political and the regulatory consideration play a very significant role in shaping the trade environment. They influence the nature of international trade and whether overseas corporate will be able to come and do a trade in another country. The regulations. The regulations are the standards or the policies or the guidelines that the government issues or establish the standards for various products or the services or the businesses. So how much foreign direct investment could happen, how much could be sent out as a dividend, what quality of products can be locally manufactured, what type of services are allowed to be carried out in a particular country by a overseas corporate. All these affect the ability of companies to export or to import goods and services. International agreements. Now, certain agreements foster cooperation. Certain agreements help in free trade. Certain agreements enter into an understanding with other governments to ensure trade happens between them in a more liberal way. These are the multilateral agreements. These reduce the barriers, these increase market access, and they also promote cooperation among countries. There are various multilateral agencies which have a target of improving the number of multilateral trade agreements a country is entered in. Now comes the sanctions and embargoes, which is also action by certain government which affects the ability of a company to trade. Certain governments may impose sanctions on certain individuals or goods or countries per se. These are embargoes. Sometimes it is financial sanction, and these are specific to a person or a country or a company or a business or a product or a trade, and this will restrict flows of goods, services, and even investment. Government support may be available for certain industries. Government support is made available to boost the competitiveness. Government support is made available to local companies or locally established entities or entities which have a local control and local ownership. This is to help exports of that country. This is to prevent imports and loss of foreign exchange. The government may also provide support in the form of incentives, production linked incentive or employment linked incentive. They could also provide concessions in the form of free land, concessional electricity, liberal tax laws, liberal labor law, etc. This helps in exports, this helps in research and development, and this also helps them to make the local company compete in a foreign country with ease. Then comes the geopolitical tension. Geopolitical tension is a political tension between countries. This will disrupt the trade flow. This will increase the uncertainty, and this will affect the overall profitability of international trade. Now, this is mainly because of the national security concern. And because of the national security concern, governments may restrict trade in certain sectors such as defense or quote national security and prevent imports from certain agencies or prevent exports to certain agencies. Also, there are environmental and social concerns where the government implement certain policies to take care of their, for example, support their labor or prevent negative impact on the climate. One more important aspect that will affect is the corruption in certain countries which has a weak governance or lack of transparency or lack of judicial independence or the environment being prone to disputes, because this will undermine the trust among the partners and cause further deterioration in the trade relationship. So these are the various political considerations that one has to keep in mind, because there are opportunities, there are challenges for an overseas business to operate on a local environment, and so the corporates needs to mitigate these, manage these, and then adapt accordingly. Thanks for watching this video. We will meet another video on trade.